Hello, divine creation, divine marvels, children of God. Thanks so much for dropping by this channel. This video, Neo-Advaita has really been on my mind as of late. Arthur goes through phases where doesn't think about it for a while and then really thinks about it, and Arthur's probably gonna cry. A Neo-Advaita teacher, Arthur just found out, committed suicide, and Arthur's still gathering the details. He just doesn't know the person's name, but he knows the basic story, and Arthur thinks he maybe had met him. And by the way, Arthur, me, I speak about myself in third person. It's an ancient jnana yoga practice. And this Neo-Advaita teacher, he was part of a Neo-Advaita community. There was kind of like a head teacher, and then a couple other people had supposedly woken up, and this person was one of them. And then one day, this person who everyone looked up to was like, "Oh, he's got it." He basically came and he's like, "I'm really suffering, guys." And the head teacher wasn't around, but all the other members of the community were like, "What are you talking about? You know that the suffering isn't real. You know you're not the personality." He's like, "No, I'm really suffering. I've tried that. It didn't work. I'm really suffering." And they're like, there is no person, kind of the basic Neo-Advaita nonsense. And the person then went and killed themselves, threw themselves in front of a train. And have this all sort of confirmed by people who know. And I didn't think to ask the person's name, but I'm pretty sure I met this guy, and I really didn't like him, but it fucking breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because that could have been me. Oops, a little background noise. A little background song. Because that was almost me this many times, suffering so much and getting just bullshit from Neo-Advaita. And one of my nearest and dearest friends, he's probably this close, and it's from Neo-Advaita to taking his life. And so what else wants to be said? Once Arthur gets this person's name and gets a few more details, they'll make a longer video on it. Arthur knows there's a couple groups of people who hang out at this channel. There are people who come by and watch these videos just so they can click a thumbs down. They don't even watch the video. Whenever Arthur makes a new video, just gives it a thumbs down. There are people like Arthur who are recovering from Neo-Advaita. And then there's just other people who are, pretty grounded in true Advaita Vedanta, who just seem to kind of enjoy what I'm up to. But my heart goes out to the other people who are recovering, who maybe have been very depressed, maybe been suicidal. And I've almost taken my life multiple times. That's part of why Arthur does this, because Neo-Advaita is deadly. Deadly. If you don't take Neo-Advaita seriously, it's a great introduction to Advaita Vedanta. If you take it seriously, if you treat it like church, like you go and you listen to it and you take in the good energy, and then you kind of forget about it the rest of the week, boom, go for it. But if you take it seriously, no bueno, really bad, really, really bad. So, Arthur thinks often, how can I help the other people who are recovering? And at this point, all Arthur knows to do is to just keep making these videos and pour out his heart and pour out what he knows about traditional Advaita Vedanta. And what comes in this moment is bhakti is okay. In fact, bhakti rocks. So is service. So is enjoying life. All those things are good. Loving God, however you define God, worshiping, service, doing healthy things that are enjoyable, being in your body. All these things are necessary to recover from Neo-Advaita, because Neo-Advaita is like the ultimate drug. Like, I'm just going to get high doing nothing, but it's actually not a high. It's actually a drug that's pressing the other gunas. It's not healing them. It's not purifying them. It's suppressing. So 12-step programs are great. The thing is, the 12-step movement itself has kind of become cultish and kind of watered down, but Arthur found a lot of help in the genuine 12 steps as presented in the big book. In fact, Arthur's going to leave a link to a video he made on the original 12 steps. Arthur's really found the teachings of Bruno Gröning helpful. And Mahayana Buddhism, but it doesn't feel like it's quite time for Arthur to, at some point this channel is this channel's been about critiquing Neo-Advaita, and when the time is right, this channel is going to be really about recovering and healing. And the thing is Arthur's kind of mid-healing, so it's like, I'm not qualified to help people recover. I'm qualified to point out bullshit. The other thing is, read the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita talks about Advaita and Dvaita. It talks about non-duality and duality. The Gita is about how to balance the truth that we're all interconnected, and the truth that, at least according to the Gita, that the individual is not the creator of the universe, and how to be in service. And simultaneously, the fact that we are part of and intimately connected with. Maybe that's the best advice. And read Ramana Maharshi's Upadesha Swaram, which starts with Karma Yoga and then moves on to Bhakti Yoga. That's a big part of how Arthur has begun his healing, is gotten into service, and Karma Yoga isn't just seva, service, it's the attitude of service, and gotten into Bhakti Yoga of worshiping the divine and loving the divine. Let's see, Arthur's gonna, if he can find it, Arthur was recently, just read something in Buddhist non-duality, Dzogchen, that really spoke to him. Here we go. This is from the book Banpo Dzogchen Teaching, page 28. Now, both the Buddhahood of the base and the Buddhahood of the path are called Buddha, but they are not the real Buddha, because the Buddhahood is latent and potential at this time and not actually manifest. Boom. So that's what Neo-Advaita is missing. So, in Dzogchen, they're very clear, like, hey, whatever the Buddha had, you have it too. And keep in mind, in the Buddhist tradition, a Buddha is omniscient. Omniscient, not omnipotent, but literally omniscient. But it makes the distinction, hey, that's latent. And that's where Neo-Advaita fucks up big time. It says, oh, you are that now. Well, actually, that's not really true in the relative sense. Neo-Advaita can't deal with the relative. And that's why what's been so healing for Arthur is like, get into the relative, get into his body, get into nature, get into service. That's what Neo-Advaita is missing, a healthy way of dealing with the relative. So I'm going to continue reading. Buddhahood is latent and potential at the time and not actually manifest. We must still purify ourselves of adversarious obscurations accumulated in countless lifetimes from time without beginning in order to attain the realization of manifest Buddhahood. We must still purify ourselves of adventitious, I don't even know that word, obscurations. This is what Arthur's been saying all along. You gotta purify tamas, excess tamas and rajas. Otherwise, the self is going to be obscured. Sure, you can have moments of clarity. If we say that all beings are already Buddhas, then why is there any necessity to do practice? It is because the Buddhahood is not yet manifest and visible, but is present in potential at the core of every single sentient being. Some would say that they are not necessary to do at all, meaning other practices. But this is speaking from the side of the natural state only. They say in the natural state, everything is present and already in potential. So there is nothing lacking and nothing more to do or to add or to acquire anything. This is fine, but on the side of the practitioner, there is much to do. And practice, such as refuge and bodhicitta, are very necessary. So, from the realm of the absolute, there's nothing to do. But from the realm of the practitioner, there is a lot to do until there isn't. Some people are ripe, very few, according to Ramana. So Arthur's really enjoying this common sense that's built into the Dzogchen system that's completely lacking in Neo-Advaita. So, yeah, more later on the suicide of this satsang teacher, and more later on this Tibetan Buddhist Dzogchen. And thank you so much for dropping by. Have fun enjoying the relative and loving and serving God.